So we're joined by head coach Matty Davies. Matty, we finally got that 4-point weekend over the line, sort of a really top performance on paper it seems, so down in Romford last night, and then obviously a really quick start tonight, managed to hold on after a bit of a Telford onslaught at the end, but how happy are you with the 4 points?
Yeah, it's been obviously a way better weekend, and it's much better doing these when you've won. So yeah, overall, look, I think last night we played brilliant. We turned up with a plan and we stuck to it all game, and like I say, we didn't give them a great deal. I think tonight, we played a really good team, an offensively very good team who was always going to come back into the game. And yeah, I think sort of without a couple of silly penalties, in my opinion, I think we had probably 3 silly ones. I think we gave them momentum with that, especially in the second, and we probably couldn't get back to our game like we had in the first. So yeah, it was a bit like that in the second and third, but look, we dug in and got it done, and I thought, yeah, all the day and everybody bought in defensively and we made it hard on them. So yeah, great weekend.
Obviously, in terms of when you look at, you're about the D-buying and everybody doing their roles, but when it comes to looking at the score lines and the goals against someone who often will get the plaudits, and I think deservedly this weekend was Jordan McLaughlin. Another strong weekend. He's up at about 92% save percentage on the season right now. How happy were you with his play?
Yeah, like I said last week, George's playing great. This is the George we wanted, and yeah, like I say, he's come back this year, different kid. Just his attitude, everything about him. I'm real proud of him for what he's done this year, and playing like he is, he's given us a chance to win, and we all knew it was in there, and it's just great to see. And like I say, long may it continue, and but it's also how we're playing in front of him. George seeing what he's seeing, he's saving, and what we are doing this year, which is different, is not giving teams anywhere near as much as we did. Odd man rushes, and just generally we're a lot more behind the puck now, and defensively overall our game's a lot better.
Another Jordan Stallard, first 2 goals this weekend. Feel like he's starting to sort of come into his own now, was particularly that line of him, Huey, and obviously good friend Johnny, just seems to be doing a real good job.
Yeah, Stally's a really good player. He's had a bit of a tough start with niggles and stuff that obviously people don't see or realise. He works hard every day. He really is. He cares about it a lot, and I was really happy for him last night. Obviously that goal's been coming. He's got unlucky in a lot of games, but it's more than that with him. He gives us so much all over the ice, and him and Johnny are playing great right now, and massive for us.
Looking obviously at the state of the league at the moment, we've got 3 wins on the bounce. A lot of teams who are sort of mid-table are beating the sides at the top 4 this weekend. Leeds have lost, Swindon have lost, Peterborough have lost, and Telford have lost. It just shows that even though we've had a tough start, this league will close in terms of the points gap, and everybody's still in this one if you can get on a good run.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this year I've tried to not look at the league table. Obviously, we've not started great, so it's not nice to look at. But generally, it's more just I know deep down, I've known, although it's been tough and a lot of things have been said, but I know I've got a good team in there. I knew we was going to be a different team and a lot harder to break down this year, and I just knew, a lot of them games we did lose were very close. 1-goal games, and I think it's been coming. The way we're playing now is exactly what I envisage this team being. And sort of, you've just got to ride out the tough bits and the tough times, and just back what you think you're doing and what you've got. And like I say, we're winning. We've won 3 in a row, which is great, but it gets tougher again next week, and it don't stop. So looking at the league and all that stuff at this point, it's really pointless, because there's so many games and so many teams that are tough to beat. Every night's hard, so everyone's going to lose games, and it's we'll just see where we're at in come January, February, and that'll be the test.
Just before we move on to looking at next week, just a quick last note on tonight's game. Obviously, with the quick start, I did say on the commentary, I think, other than the late penalty about a minute to go, that would have been like one of your wildest dreams before they'll start against a a very defensively solid Tom Watkins side. I know they were without Brad Day tonight. That was something that maybe helps us in our favour, because he tends to save his best performances for ourselves. But the way that they did come back and sort of, 18 shots on Geordie in the second, don't quite know the shot count in the third, but the way that the lads did stand tall, the scratching Carl Ferguson, Josh Hodgkinson as well. The right attitude from the guys, despite the fact, there's a couple of silly penalties, but they did the hard graft tonight.
Yeah, I think Tom he's a really good coach. He knows what he's doing. I think they're a little bit of a different team this year. They seem a lot more offensive. Looking at the results, there's a lot of big scores. So for me, I knew, we had to be solid behind the puck, and the offensive side of the game, I know we can damage any team. So yeah, it was just about us doing the right things, off the puck, and that was the best thing about the first period. Was we literally gave them absolutely nothing. I think it was 6 shots or something like that, and then, like I say, we started to take some silly penalties and gave them momentum when I felt like it's part of the game, that's what happens. But I think we could have been better at times in that and not taking some. But the kill's been unreal this weekend, and yeah, I mean that has essentially give us massive momentum back at times and helped us win. So yeah, I mean, like I say, really happy. Massive win at home with a good crowd, and Josh doing what he did. That's 2 in a row now, and in terms of fights, you lot love all that. So that's great to see, and yeah, it's just part of the game, and it's them lads have got each other's back, and they want to win. They care about it. They care about the shirt, and that's what we want here. So yeah, it's like I say, great night, great crowd, and yeah, like I say, big week coming, but tonight's great.
On that double header, last question. These games in Peterborough are often sort of some of the most interesting ones. They can be 1-goal games, like we saw in the cup game last year, where Johnny managed to sort of find the only goal, and they can be high scoring, particularly down in their rink. It's a tough place to go. Looking forward to the challenge once again.
Yeah, I mean, look, we obviously played them once in there. I thought we was the better team pretty much all night. We should have won that game, but they're a good team. They've got a solid first line and offensively good. But like I say, I think for me, it's the high scoring games are not something that we're looking at doing. It's not part of our plan. It's we want to be solid and we want to be hard to break down, and that's been the plan from day one. So yeah, that's why the Bristol thing is more annoying, because we've worked on being much more solid this year. Our goals against is great. So yeah, I mean, look, it'll be another tough weekend. We've got Leeds to deal with first in a massive cup game. So we'll get to the Peterborough weekend when we get there. But yeah, Leeds first.
Might check my calendar. Matty Davies, thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you.